Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about JDK 21 that's released on 19th September 2023. There are huge changes they come up uh, with the change with the 21 release. So that is the date you can see that. So there are certain features they come up with the preview features like the older releases, and there are certain features they come up with the development release is available. So, but not yet provided the general availability. Definitely, they will release someday the real general availability release. So, in case if you want to compile any of the Java 21 code, say that JDK is available, you can go ahead and download, and you can install in your local machine, and then you can set it up. Say you have written any code which is corresponding to Java 21 library, then you need to use Java C followed by hyphen release 21 enable the preview feature main.java, and for compiling that. For running, you need to apply Java-enable preview main for running. So you can see that there are sort of features which are available from the Oracle. So string templates, they come up with some replacement characters and uh, like a kind of a processor kind of a implementation approach to handle the string data, and they introduced sequenced collections that handles certain things in the sequential fashion. Generational GC, this is a underlying GC improvement, and if you want to enable alongside the non-generalization, you can go ahead and enable the feature. And record patterns, record is introduced in JDK 14. So now they wanted to handle with generics, with the record patterns, and with the pattern matching with the switch case. So we can see that. Foreign function and memory API, these two are something introduced at the improvement of the JVM. In case if you are making call to the any C++ library calls, so for them it is useful making call to the remote function. Unnamed patterns and variable previews, they also introduced virtual threads. The interesting topic, virtual threads, we can see virtual thread is something which runs on the one of the OS thread. On top of that, as many as threads you can have to perform operations in parallel or concurrently. So unnamed classes and instance main methods. So they come up with a new instance method, and for running your main, we can see scoped values. Scoped values they introduced, and within that scoped value instance, you can perform multiple operations. So vector API, this is also again something which is at the JVM improvement level. And certain features are deprecating it, and in the previous releases you might see that Java agents can run. So now they come up with a JVM memory level settings. If you want to enable the dynamic loading, yes, you can go ahead and do it. And also they come up with one new feature in terms of the cryptography, K encapsulation mechanism, KEM. So you can do some kind of use the encryption standard algorithms, and you can encapsulate your data and then decapsulate your data. Structured concurrency, say when you are making some sequence of calls, and when sequence of calls you want to make that structurally concurrent, then you can go ahead and apply this structured concurrency utility, and then you can combine those results. So now you can see that the first syntax string colon format. This is the method we are using to replace certain values dynamically. So that now they come up with a new library called a message format. You can go ahead and prepare which are the objects you wanted to have the replacement values you can introduce, and they come up with, as I said, the template processor. So template processors are the one which defines, say here, string name John, they define it, and string information, string str, this is the template processor they introduced. It is available in JDK 21. Now dot followed by my name is backslash the replacement character. So they are saying that, okay, you replace whenever you encounter the syntax with John is the name. And also they introduced another template processor raw, and also they introduced one more FMT. So you can definitely go ahead and understand different template processors from JDK 21. So here the broader explanation has been given. STR stands for a temp string, a template processor followed by a Unicode character, and then the template which gets a replacement of your embedded expression. As I said, there are a set of collections were introduced. You can see that sequenced collection, which is inheriting the collection to avoid the duplicates and all while storing data itself. And you can see that sequenced set, which is inheriting from the sequenced collection, and you have a sequenced map, which is inheriting the standard map. So these are the new set of collections, and also they support the unmodifiable objects those for these collections. So ensure that you remember those as well available as part of this release. So here, virtual thread and platform thread. It is a very much self-explanatory. So platform thread, every instance of java.lang.thread in the JDK is a platform thread. A platform thread runs Java code on an underlying OS thread and captures the OS thread for the code's lifecycle. So always your code runs within the OS thread. It will not go beyond that. So always it is a one-to-one mapping. One OS thread with one task you can perform. So you cannot go say my hardware has 10 threads. Yes, I cannot go and run 20 threads. So I can run only 10 tasks at a time. But here quite differently they come up with an idea saying that you can have the OS thread. On the OS thread, I can run as many as tasks as virtually, which will not directly impact the OS threads, because these are dynamically created and killed. The life cycle of the object is not 100% commitment with the OS thread. That is the key difference. So they enhanced the Java 5 executor framework by introducing new virtual thread per task executor. And here in this particular case, they have given int stream with a range of 0 to 10K. So if I use a normal executor pool, thread pool, obviously the JVM will crash or will hang or will not respond because there is a submit. The submit is calling a thread.sleep. Obviously, this is going to be a bottleneck to the JVM and your application could crash. But according to the highlighted yellow new virtual thread per task, this is the one which dynamically creates and kills on your native OS thread. So this will be much faster than the by creating executors dot new thread pool, new fixed thread pool, or new cache thread pool, or whatever the syntax is if we use the older versions. So this is how they enhanced the thread class. So they introduced a builder, they introduced a virtual off platform to segregate the platform thread versus the virtual threads. So they have given simple self-explanatory examples. You can definitely read. So if you want a thread to start virtually, yes, you can use a thread.start virtual thread followed by the runnable running task. And whether the thread is virtual or not, you want to get to know, you can call is virtual method. For knowing the platform threads, there is a new utility method introduced, get all stack traces, that will give us all the native OS threads. So this is in extension to that. So here in this particular case, they are making two subsequent calls to URL1 and URL2. And then they call and get the result and then combine it and sends the response to a handler, which is a utility method, for example. So unnamed clauses, they have enhanced our main class with the public static void main string arguments with something similar structure. So you can have a class and class has a name and void main without like the old syntaxes. So thus you can save it as a main.java and then you can compile and you can test it, you can run it, it will still work as your main class like the old way. This is a preview feature, we need to enable it with a preview enabled to compile and test this. So enabling generational GC, so they introduced a new flag plus G generational alongside the use of ZGC, so that they have categorized now memory handling separately, young generation separately, old generation with a set of complex algorithms they put in place in the GVM to effectively clean up the unused objects within the virtual machine. So this is going to be more powerful and faster, cleans the objects effectively, maintain our application. So ScopedValue is another new API they introduced where you can make multiple, what I would say, multiple tasks from one of the main tasks so that you can go ahead and run those scoped tasks and get those results. You can see here they define it as scoped value X. They were calling hello and then they are running a bar. Bar is getting printing hello and then saying goodbye. But before saying goodbye, they were making also call to badge. Badge is going to be printing something. So that's how here they define it. And I was talking that the pattern, so with the record classes. So record my pair s comma t, this is the generic type. So they were using in the record reference method as my pair string integer pair, and then they are using a switch case where the pair is being passed, and then they are defining case my pair where f where s doing something. So also here they are performing some kind of operation. Object instance of point int x comma y. Say my pair has a two types, right? So it is a generic type. They did not declare it as a the the real data type. So we can pass it dynamically. Anything can wherever being the caller is being made. And this is a cryptography new package where they introduced okay, so some exception classes and methods. This is a huge methods were there. I have taken few of the methods from the KEM class. So it is useful for the encapsulating, decapsulating the content of the data. And structured task scope, something which they said structured concurrency. Say if I'm making a call to a particular operation that has to be concurrently performed, but structurally I wanted to go the flow. Say first I want to go and find the user, uh, and then fetch the corresponding order for that user. So that's two different tasks has been forked structurally, but both performs concurrently. And after performing, the results were joined, and then response sent back to the caller. In case of any failure, it gets failed. So that's all about today. If you are comfortable with learning new tools, please subscribe. If you are happy with this, please go ahead and give a thumbs up. Thank you.